Hi guys, so it has been confirmed that the Ultimates are coming back in the comics. Now, I really want the Ultimates to come into the movies as well, and it's entirely possible, what with Stan Lee and the Watchers and the multiverse stuff going on. So, basically, I really hope the Ultimates do come into the movies because I really like the Ultimate versions of certain characters. Like, I really like the Ultimate Iron Man, and I really like the Ultimate Captain America as well. But the Ultimate Captain America is very much like the MCU version we already have. But I know like the Ultimate version of Captain America was obviously made before the MCU version of Cap, but still, you can see that the movies like took inspiration from this version of Cap. So basically, I really like the Ultimate Thor as well. Or although I must say I do prefer classic Thor, but there we go. I mean, we know we basically also have like the confirmation that Disney is acquiring Fox. So that means the potential um, for Avengers and X-Men crossovers in the future is there. Whether this will be the current X-Men franchise or a rebooted X-Men franchise, we'll just have to wait and see. But it's unclear whether they're going to have like the same actors in the X-Men movies in the future. Like Hugh Jackman's said that he doesn't want to play Wolverine anymore, but I'm sure if he was paid enough money, then he would at least consider it. I'm sure the multiverse stuff is going to be to do with the X-Men and the Avengers meeting each other. Because it would make a lot more sense, like, if the X-Men were basically in a separate universe to the Avengers, and then their two universes collide somehow. Like the X-Men could come through like some sort of portal into the Avengers universe. But I think if the Avengers were in the same universe as the X-Men, then that could be very confusing as far as timelines and chronological orders of things go. Much as I love Ellen Page's portrayal of Shadowcat, I would much rather see like a different actress playing Shadowcat at this point because I think she's had her time, to be honest. Like, because in the Ultimate comics, Shadowcat was always portrayed as being a taller woman to what Ellen Page is, because Ellen Page is quite short. So, yeah, I mean, you could have like two different versions of Shadowcat meeting each other. So, for example, you could have the movies Shadowcat meeting the ultimate Shadowcat. To be honest, like this costume that Shadowcat wore in the Ultimate Comics, this is probably like my favorite Shadowcat costume of all time. To be honest, like what with the legs showing and the straps right there. Um, but for some reason, like later on in the Ultimate Comics, her costume changed to that. Now, um, I'm not sure what the reason for this is. Like, maybe it's some sort of feminist thing. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm kind of a feminist myself because I'm all about female empowerment, but I have to say though, I prefer this costume right here to this costume. I mean, I know this costume shows more leg, but I mean, I don't know. There's just something about this costume with the straps and like the mini skirt and everything, it just looks a bit more sexy. Now, I know some of you are going to argue and say, well, it's not really a mini skirt because it's more like a one piece costume. But I mean, obviously, if you just like cut like um the costume like around the belt sort of area, like it would basically be a mini skirt. Like like to me, it looks like this belt could be holding the skirt up. Um, I don't know. I might be wrong. Like this belt just could have some useful utensils or tools in it, like just like Batman's utility belt. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so now I know a lot of people want a She-Hulk movie, but to be honest, like we're getting a Captain Marvel movie, so why why can't we have a She-Hulk movie? Like basically, like at first I was disappointed um that Brie Larson's Captain Marvel is not going to be in Infinity War, but like but now I can kind of see where they're coming from because they don't just want to chuck her in there. They want her character and her story to be introduced properly first before she comes into the Avengers movies. And that's why they're bringing her in with the Captain Marvel movie first. Like, so really, I want the same done with She-Hulk. Like, I don't want her just thrown into the Avengers movie straight away. I just want her story and her origins to be told properly first. Like, even like they could do another solo Hulk movie and just have her in it. Like, obviously, she would have to be Hulk's cousin, just like she is in the comics. Otherwise, it'll be kind of a bit shitty, to be honest. I mean, because at this point, like Magneto's not Scarlet Witch's dad in the movies, which is a bit shit because it's all to do with like the rights and everything. Because this was before like Disney bought Fox. I mean, apparently, like Scarlet Witch isn't even a mutant in the MCU. She's an Inhuman, or um, well, I think she is anyway. But like, yeah, it's all to do with Disney weren't allowed to use the word mutant because that was like a Fox copyrighted thing. Like, but now, of course, Disney have bought Fox. They will be able to use the word mutant from now on. But that's why it's such a mess because they can't suddenly change Scarlet Witch's character and say, oh, hey, she was a mutant after all. Like, no, that's set in stone now. That's how her character and her background has canonically developed. I I get kind of annoyed, like because like Shadowcat and Iceman like aren't getting as much love as they used to. Like because these are some of the great Marvel characters. Like but we haven't seen like Shadowcat and Iceman since Days of Future Past. So maybe it's because they've had loads of time out of the spotlight that people are kind of forgetting about them. Well, not people like you and me, but like the everyday movie going folk. But to be honest, like Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, like she was one of my biggest teenage crushes, and she still is one of my biggest crushes. So I mean, like, I even did a tweet on Twitter, um, retweets or like this if you want to see Shadowcat wearing this costume in the movies, and nobody liked it and nobody retweeted it, and that is just put a downer on me because I think it's one of the most important things, like in the Marvel movies, that Shadowcat ends up wearing this costume or this one. But we don't know if Thanos is going to survive Infinity War or not, or whether he's going to turn up in Avengers 4 or not. Um, but the point is, he could do even more mad things with the Infinity Gauntlet now that Disney have brought Fox, because he can't just bring like MCU Quicksilver back to life. Just for an example, like he can also bring like Fox characters back to life as well, like Emma Frost, for example. Like I thought, Emma Frost, no, sorry, January Jones' portrayal of Emma Frost was near on perfect, and obviously they got the costume spot on as well, which I was very impressed with. So Disney, like, don't change these costumes because like you would be ruining a good thing. Like, I mean, let me try and explain myself, right? Some costumes need to be changed and others don't. Like the SheHulk costume and the Emma Frost costume. You don't need to change them because they are perfect and spot on. But people like Shadowcat, you need to change her costume because she can't just keep wearing this black costume all of the time, or normal clothing or whatever. Because it just gets to a point where it gets boring. Because like look at all of these characters like wearing black, like Mystique and Jean Grey as well, and even bloody Quicksilver as well. Like at least in Days of Future Past, like Quicksilver had his Pink Floyd shirt on and his other clothing as well. Whereas in X-Men Apocalypse, he was just put in a black suit like the bloody rest of them, and Angel as well. Well, even though Storm's wearing a black suit, like at least hers is slightly different to the others. Um, but I have a feeling that Disney are probably more likely to go with this costume than this one. Um, Mainly because this one harks too much back to the black costumes. I mean, obviously Black Panther's gonna wear black, otherwise, like he can't wear another color because he can't be like the Blue Panther or anything like that. Like, but if Black Panther was on screen with the X-Men, then you would just have too much black on screen, wouldn't you? I mean, even Ultimate Thor's costume is kind of blackish or bluish, whatever.